This time, my river adventure has brought me north. And to somewhere a little different to what I'm used to. Britain's rivers flow through some of the most peaceful landscapes. But the mighty Tyne takes me to the heart of a vibrant and modern city. And this is where my journey will begin. This is a river with surprises and delights all the way from sea to source. The Tyne is one of the UK's most iconic and well-known rivers, but if you only associate it with the black and white of Newcastle United and with heavy industry, then think again, because there is so much more to this river than meets the eye. It stretches for 73 miles between the North Sea and the hills of Cumbria and Northumberland, taking in some truly spectacular landscapes. I'll be following the Tyne between the city of Newcastle and its source. Through towns and villages voted some of the best in the country. I am telling you, there must be something in the water. Taking in remarkable Roman ruins.
Jump in, sit in, depends how brave you are.
Oh, it's so cold. And some riverside luxury. I was thinking treehouse, up in a tree, little cabin. I wasn't thinking this. As well as sampling some river-inspired delicacies. Actual mouth-watering happening now. Before the Tyne retreats into the hills. But before all that, I have to begin my journey at what is surely this great river's most famous stretch. And its busiest. The Tyne passes through two great cities, Gateshead over there, Newcastle here, or as the Romans called it, Pons Aelius. That's before William the Conqueror came along and built the new castle. Newcastle is the most populated city in the northeast of England, and you can't think of it without imagining the Tyne River. Local legend Jimmy Nail certainly couldn't. He wrote a song about it. And of course, Gazza posed in front of the famous Tine Bridge when he sang Fog on the Tyne. And that seems like a good place for me to start. When it was built in 1928, the Tine Bridge was the world's longest single-span bridge. And it went on to inspire others across the globe. But the next exciting chapter for this historic crossing is about to begin. To tell me more, hi there. I'm meeting engineer Pamela. All right. It's an amazing bridge to look at. The structure is unusual, yes?
It is unusual, but iconic. If you'd ask people what they know about Newcastle and Gateshead, they would say the Tine Bridge.
With its 100th birthday approaching, plans are afoot for a full restoration of the bridge, something Pamela is particularly proud to be overseeing. You work on it now, but this bridge actually played a very key role in your life choices.
Absolutely. This bridge is why I'm a civil engineer. I've always lived in Newcastle and I've always loved this structure. And when I went to university, I took a poster and it was the first thing that I put in my student accommodation of the Tine Bridge with a lovely sunset. And now I am here. So amazing.
Full circle. Before this exciting restoration gets underway, I'm going somewhere few get to see. Pamela is letting me inside one of the Tine Bridge's Art Deco towers. Oh my word. Well, I didn't expect it to look like this.
It's a vast space indeed, isn't it?
Yeah, it's huge.
You can feel how it's built. It's like thunder.
It's unlike anything I've ever stood in or heard before.
Yeah.
The towers were originally intended to be used as several floors of warehouse space, but the floors were never installed. Thankfully, there is one way up for the brave. Oh, gosh.
Do you want to go up?
Yeah, one more. Have you done this before?
Nope.
I feel honoured to have permission to be here. This is not an everyday tourist attraction. This is hardcore, this is.
Look at this.
This is great. The climb was certainly worth it. I feel on top of the Tyne. The way the river divides Gateshead from Newcastle, but creates this line through the city. Honestly, this is staggering.
There's not many people that have had this opportunity to have the view that you've had, Claire.
Listen, I'm very, very grateful. I love this. What an exhilarating way to start this adventure, and to see the Tyne stretching ahead of me. But being up here makes me want to be back down there, on the river, to see more. If I were coming here as a tourist, I would probably go on a bus tour of Newcastle or a walking tour with a guide. But because we are giving you tales from the riverbank, I need to get out here on the Tyne in a kayak. My companion for this tour of the Tyne is Simon. Yes, paddle power. I'm loving it. This is great. It's very soothing. So do you feel really connected to the river?
Yeah, I'm very proud of this river.
And when you're on the water, you get to discover even more of this city's remarkable bridges. Like this one, the Tyne's newest, with the curious nickname, the Blinking Eye. I love this bridge. It's just a lovely piece of engineering and architecture.
It really is. This is the Millennium Bridge. When it lifts, that's where it starts to look like a blinking eye.
God. Is it the only bridge in the world that does that?
Certainly at the time of its making, was the first in the world.
I love the line of it, though. I just think it's really classy and, yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, it is an absolutely stunning bridge.
There's a lot of bridge action here. So we've got the Millennium Bridge, the Tine Bridge. What's the upper one called?
That's the high-level bridge. That's another one of the world's first double-decked. The one in front of it is the Swing Bridge.
In total, there are 7 bridges spanning the Tyne as it flows its way along a mile or so stretch of the river through the city. Out here, away from the traffic and looking up at the sleek skyline, the Tyne really does give you this sense of its enduring presence in the city. But while this might be its most famous stretch, it's just the beginning of my river adventure. And next, I'll be heading out into the countryside to explore the lesser-known Tyne, to a small riverside village that inspired one of the biggest moments in our history. Back in time, this was a thriving industrial community that literally changed the world and continues to inspire its residents today.
What you learn from the river is you need to sometimes just go with the flow. Yeah.
And I'll be getting my waders on as I go in search of a Tyne native. It's lovely feeling that you're in the river, that you're part of it.
Yeah.
I'm exploring the mighty Tyne, a river that might make you think of Newcastle, but goes so much further, as I'm about to discover. Leaving behind the city, 11 miles out, the river stops being tidal. And it's here that it flows into a pretty village. But there's more to it than meets the eye. Back in time, this was a thriving industrial community, along with the River Tyne, that created a series of events that literally changed the world. This place, Wylam, this little town, had some of the most creative, inventive minds of the Industrial Revolution, including the father of the railways himself, George Stephenson. Stephenson was a local engineer born in Wylam in the 18th century. His whitewashed cottage still stands on the banks of the Tyne. Back then, the river was the main route for transporting coal from the mines out to ships, until a team of local engineers began experimenting with a new means of transport. the railway. Stephenson's invention of his steam-powered locomotive changed industry and transport forever. These days, Wylam, with its historic station, is a rather more peaceful commuter village, popular for its proximity to Newcastle. Andy is one of the lucky residents living by the river.
Hello, Andy.
Hello.
Good to meet you. All right. Andy, you're a Wylam man. What makes this place special?
There's so many things. For me, the river is central to it, and I think I used to spend quite a lot of time sitting down here, listening to the river, morning, night. All that's helped shape me and make me love it more and more over time.
The really fascinating thing is Wylam, only a tiny village,
Yep.
has been so influential, not just in the history of the country, but of the world.
Yeah. That grouping of characters inventing the first locomotives, it came out of needs must, actually. How do we move the coal? How do we pump the water out of the coal mines to keep them viable? A couple hundred yards that way is the original blacksmith's building where they built those first engines. There's so much history.
Is the term Geordie, is it
interesting
true
one.
that comes from George Stephenson?
That's one of the tales, is that. And I don't think anyone knows the full answer to that.
What's your motto for life? And indeed, what's your catchphrase?
It's such a positive, reinforcing statement of encouragement, and it's where I. You know, the people of the Northeast, there was a lot of very hard jobs, and you'd leave in the morning and you didn't know whether you were going to come back. So where I is such a positive response to that, I think.
Why, aye. As you stand there and you stare at the river, what does it mean to you?
What you learn from the river is you need to sometimes just go with the flow, and it gets a rhythm and flow with it. So don't fight it. For me, it's a metaphor for life, and you can learn a lot and get wiser in your own life by watching and learning from the river and how it reacts to things. Yeah.
It certainly inspired Andy with his latest venture, a bakery.
It's called Big River Bakery.
Yes, it is.
You know, this is your Big River.
Yes, well, it came in the night, actually. It was just in a dream to give it that name. I can hear the river from my bed. I think I do get something from it. I don't know, the white noise, whatever it is. It helps clarity of thought.
Andy had me at the word bakery, but I do have a good reason for wanting to pay it a visit. In the 19th and 20th century, this part of the riverbank was the stomping ground of the working classes. And like tin miners and Cornish pasties, for the coal miners and shipbuilders along here, it was the stotty cake keeping them fed and fueled. Cheap and simple to make from scraps of dough, these flat, dense loaves got their name from the Geordie term to stot, which means to bounce. Traditionally, bakers would bounce their cakes on the floor to check their texture. Now, I'm not a baker, but Andy's partner Gail is.
Right, Claire, we're ready to make stotty cakes today.
Okay. This might actually be baking I can do.
Excellent, yeah.
You know?
The recipe is simple. Flour, salt, sugar, yeast, white pepper and water.
Oh, wow, it gets thick, really.
It does get thick.
This feels like something I could build a house with.
It probably is.
I'm not kidding. This is taking some elbow grease.
Swirl it round the bowl if you can.
Okay.
And then we're going to be kneading it.
Gail's right. This is fun.
What a great thing to make bread.
Yeah. I am not a baker, right? I'm just not a cook. That's really therapeutic. I really like it. And you think the stotty is more than just a bit of bread?
Just a bit of bread. It really is iconic. I think the stotty is all about the hard-working folk of the northeast.
Well, that's the hard part done.
You're going to grow.
I know, it's like a small child, isn't
Yeah.
it? There you go.
So now they're popped in to prove.
It's a fascinating process, and it is like magic.
And we've got to check for the all-important bounce.
These are quite bouncy. As you can see, that's where they get the bounce
yeah.
from, aren't they? Yeah, yeah.
We're nearly there. It's time for the oven to work its magic. I'm starting to feel like an actual baker.
come here. Got it. Over you go. There we go. Yeah. Those look so good. Can't wait to try them. Here we go, the finished product.
Excellent. Let's see what you think.
That's really nice.
It's a lovely bread.
My first ever stotty. Proper taste of the Tyne, this is.
Taste of the Tyne.
Cheers.
Hey, it is, it is. Power to the stotty.
There's nothing quite like food to take you back in time. But as I continue on my journey, signs of the Tyne's industrial past fade, leaving instead a string of very pretty villages along the riverbank.
The river has now brought me to the beautiful town of Corbridge, which recently came very near the top of the charts for best staycation place in the UK. I am telling you, there must be something in the water.
With a riverside trail to walk and characterful streets, Corbridge is peppered with interesting little shops designed to tempt me in, like this one.
Oh, this is beautiful.
Baking seems to be a theme in this part of the country.
If you're in need of a sugar rush, this is the place to come.
Grant's Bakery has quite a reputation around here.
Hello.
Hello there.
This is like walking into a gallery, right?
Thank you very much.
It's like a gallery of cakes. It's beautiful.
Yes, I know. We've sold a lot of cakes.
Head baker Andrew's customers included the late Queen, and if it was good enough for Her Majesty,
Anything for me that would be just sort of manageable, just so I can have a little taste of.
Maybe some of our little biscuits?
Yes, I like a ginger snap.
Would
so
you?
if it's a ginger biscuit, yeah, I love ginger.
Right, okay.
Is that all right?
Yes, yes.
well, it has been at least an hour since I last ate something.
Yeah.
There we are.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And really strong ginger flavour.
Yeah,
That's
good.
lovely.
Yeah, good.
Corbridge is so pretty.
It is, it is. It's a lovely town.
And the river runs right through?
It does, yes. Yeah, just over the bridge, right the way through the River Tyne, yes. Beautiful down there.
And when I said there's something in the water here, I meant it, because just west of Corbridge is the historic town of Hexom, often voted the UK's happiest place to live. With a thriving community, lots of green space and a great farmers market, the town is famous for the abbey that's existed here for over 1,300 years. But my next stop on the Tyne, or shall we say in it, is just a few miles west of Hexom.
This is the place called Water's Meet, which is particularly renowned for an activity that requires me to wear this natty little outfit. Oh yeah.
Yep, me and my waders are going in, because this stretch of the Tyne is said to be the best in the country for salmon fishing. At the beginning of autumn, you might be lucky to catch the phenomenon of them leaping as they migrate upstream to their spawning grounds.
They're very good, these waders.
Jamie grew up on the Tyne and is one of many keen fishermen in this region. He's offered to give me a lesson, which is brave.
This river is famed for its salmon.
It is. It's not as good as it should be. There's a lot of room for improvement. Average runs at the minute are about 11,000 a year. And to give that some context, if we go back about 150 years, there were 126,000 salmon offered for sale at Newcastle Fish Market in 1873. And that was what was caught in nets on the river, so less than 10% of that returning now. So there's still a lot of work to be done, although it is a very good and very productive salmon river.
How long would you be out here fishing?
Well, when I was a lot younger, it would have been all day, dawn till dusk, but now, family and work commitments, a couple of hours is usually enough for me these days. So.
And what does it do for you?
It just helps you unwind. It's very, you get into the rhythm of casting and fishing, and it's a nice, relaxing hobby. It gets you out and about.
Now, obviously, I'm going to be rubbish at this, because I'm rubbish at most things I try. But talk me through the technique.
So the aim of this first piece of the cast is to get the fly on the end of the line and the leader up above us here. So to do that, we'll just lift the rod straight up like that, and then you make a backward letter C with the tip. So we do that, and then you come back round to make your loop, and then just flick it out like that.
That looks really easy.
It is dead easy when you've been doing it for 30 years.
Exactly. It's dead easy when you can.
And surely I can too. That's can with a forward C.
So I'm going on a
So
C,
you go
up.
Big C
There.
that way, yeah. And your rod tip comes back to here, and then you come back round up to here to make your loop.
And then I'm
then
flicking out to
forward.
my tree, yeah?
Yep.
OK.
So if you do a big backward C, that's it. Not bad. And then you just need to have that rod a bit higher up to start
OK.
with.
There, there, there. Oh, no, that was rubbish.
Listen, Jamie's got 30 years on me. I will get this.
Did that hit somebody?
Gravel, grass.
Nearly. No balls. I think I'm getting worse.
Truthfully, I've no idea what I'm doing, so I'm going to stop embarrassing myself. But I can't fault my teacher.
You've been very patient, Jamie. It's lovely, though, and it's lovely feeling that you're in the river, that you're part of it.
Yeah.
But the fish are having their own party somewhere else.
So I didn't catch any salmon for my supper, but don't worry. As I continue along the river, I'll be discovering what's on an extravagant menu inspired by the Tyne.
What's Swedish for wonderful?
Fantastiskt.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Fundamental.
Yeah.
And I'll be indulging in a spa day by the river, Roman style.
Bathing was a really essential way of life for the Romans. Jump in, sit in, depends how brave you are.
Oh, it's so
and that's
cold.
meant to be really, really good for your circulation and probably, yeah.
I've been following the Tyne all the way from Newcastle, and now the river has reached a natural point of change. At Water's Meet, it divides into two separate tributaries, the North and South Tyne. I'm staying north, which brings me to the riverside village of Wall. And here we find a Michelin-starred restaurant that celebrates the food of the river with a twist. Think Scandinavia meets the Tyne, and you have Hexom.
Hello, how are you going? Nice to see you.
Oh, my God.
Owners Ali and Alex have allowed me a sneaky taster of today's menu ahead of the diners.
Tell me about the meaning then of yum.
So it means home in Scandinavian, and then same in Northumberland, where you say gan hjem, which also means home.
Yeah, so kind of fitted for Alex being Swedish and myself being from Northumberland.
Well, you have here some ingredients.
Yeah. You know, like different parts from the river, you know, so you got, like wild garlic is like picked down by the river, and then obviously the rainbow trout is from the river.
Talk about locally river-sourced.
Great, so what are you going to make?
So we have the rainbow trout, which then obviously is filleted down, and a little bit of salt, and what we do, we burn the skin to get the skin off the actual fish. If you've done it right, you should just be able to peel off the...
Oh, yay.
Like this.
That's nice.
And there you go. We slice him. So the idea is like you have like a nice little fresh cucumber salad. Green beans. The fish. Just try to put it in the middle, like that, something like this. Looks pretty. We have a sauce which is made of like almonds and a little bit of garlic.
Actual mouth-watering happening now.
And then we have some borage flowers, taste a little bit like oysters, which is quite nice, like that. And here's the dish.
Wow.
Rainbow trout, cucumbers, and green beans.
Amazing, really, what you can find on a riverbank forage.
So you're going to try and get everything together.
Yeah.
Yeah?
It's good.
I want to fully appreciate it before I say anything. That is amazing.
Wow.
Perfect.
But my river-themed culinary journey isn't done yet.
Yeah. Oh, steps from the river. the leg of the grouse
Yes.
that we cover in hazelnuts that we pick by the river too. We're then finishing off with wild garlic that we picked by the river.
Okay.
And a little bit of chives.
It's like watching a magician at work.
Yeah, that's the dish.
It's grouse à la Tyne.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Yes. Yes. You're welcome. What's Swedish for wonderful?
Fantastic.
It's fantastic. Fantabulous.
But for Ali, the river here provides more than just culinary inspiration.
How much does the river influence what you do, who you are, how you feel?
Growing up in Northumberland, the Tyne's always been very, central to our childhood, what we did. We used to fish for minnows with jam jars on shoelaces. It's just a lovely thing to know is always there. And I think whenever I go across the Tyne, you always think, oof, it's okay, I'm home.
Well, I am hugely enjoying grouse à la Tyne.
Always the river. Yeah.
I'm leaving this part of the Tyne feeling fully satisfied and with a smile on my face.
I know it's called yem, and I know that means home, and it is very homely, but I'd just call it yum. Works.
Now, the name of this village, Wall, definitely gives a big clue about what else can be seen along parts of the River Tyne. This is where the Romans built the Great Hadrian's Wall almost 2,000 years ago, a 73-mile-long boundary dividing Roman Britannia and unconquered Scotland to the north. And nearby, next to the river, is one of the most visited places along Hadrian's Wall.
The North Tyne passes by one of the best preserved Roman sites anywhere in the country that gives us a real insight into how they lived with the river at the very heart of their existence.
This is Chester's Roman fort, which would have been a base for 500 soldiers, and its position proves how vital the river was.
As we know from their road building, the Romans loved transport. What could be better than a river to bring in supplies, to bring in men as well, to protect this northwestern border of the Roman Empire that was here for 300 years?
But as busy as the Romans were, what this site reveals is what they also made time for: riverside relaxation. And they did it rather lavishly. Because the fort remains include a bathhouse, showing how they made full use of the fresh North Tyne water.
So this was the fort bathhouse. The soldiers would have come in to here, which is the change room or the apoditarium.
All will become clearer because I'm meeting curator Francis for a spa day of sorts.
This is an amazingly well-preserved and detailed expanse of baths.
Yes, it's the best preserved military bathhouse in Roman Britain, and we're really proud to have it here at Chester's.
And sited here with view of the river.
Yeah, perfect position. The Romans were sensible, so they'd bring in the water from the river, put it through the baths, and the baths would flush the toilets out into the river. So very economical. Bathing was a really essential way of life for the Romans. They expected to have wine, olive oil, and a bath, the central things to Roman life. So every fort has a bathhouse, it's just ours is amazingly well preserved.
Well, there's only one way to experience relaxing Roman style, and that's to follow in a centurion's footsteps.
So you come in, you take your clothes off, you put them in your locker, you put in the code that you always use, and then?
Then you walk this way, and you decide if you're going hot or cold first.
OK, I want to go hot first.
OK, so we'll go right here. So through to here. This would be the hottest room because it's closest to the furnace that's been stoked. Hot air is coming underneath us. We're on a raised floor.
So you're sitting on a bench in here. Are you thracking yourself with a birch?
No, you're probably coating yourself in olive oil and then peeling it off with a strigil, and that takes the dirt and the grease off your skin. And then go through here, and then this is not quite as hot. So it's still a dry heat room, and you maybe just start to acclimatise yourself a little bit, come a bit down. Then you've got to decide, are you going in the cold plunge pool or not?
Yes.
Yeah.
Would I be that brave in real life? Probably not.
Jump in,
Jump.
sit in, depends how brave you are.
It's so
And that's
cold.
meant to be really, really good for your circulation and probably, yeah. Then you might get out and go and do a bit of exercise.
So now I'm feeling really invigorated and clean.
Yes.
To literally walk in their footsteps, I really get the gist of the Roman bathhouse experience. And who wouldn't want to relax here?
It's an amazing place, this. As well as being strategically important, it's also just a really beautiful spot.
It is. I think it's a lot more peaceful now than it would have been when the Romans were here, so we should enjoy it.
I think the Romans were onto something when they chose the river as a spot to unwind. And I'm not the only one. As the North Tyne section of the river continues, it flows deep into the Northumberland National Park.
This stretch of river feels untouched by time. There's not a house to be seen.
But for around 3 miles, the river runs through the grounds of a stately home called Hesleyside Hall. The house has been the ancestral home of the Charlton family for 680 years. But while this is a very grand way to sit and gaze at the river views, it's actually quite modern compared to the castle that once stood here.
Peter, what a place to live, but an amazing history behind this.
It's an extraordinary history.
And with his family, Hesleyside's latest occupant, Peter, has continued the legacy of modernising things here.
My son decided it would be a good idea to build shepherd's huts and tree houses. It's like something from Disney World.
Is it? Have you stayed in them?
Certainly not.
Why would I stay in them? I live here.
I'll reserve judgment until I've seen more of these riverside retreats. Among the offering, there's a woodland watchtower. And this treehouse, which looks like it's straight from the pages of a fairy tale.
I was thinking treehouse, up in a tree, little cabin. I wasn't thinking this. That's like a Swiss chalet. That is fantastic.
Call me Goldilocks, I'm going in.
Oh, hello. This is great. Oh, hello. Here's the master suite. And it's circular. Honestly, the quality of the woodwork, the carpentry is just lovely. It's great. This is the bathroom. Oh my God. You've got a shower with a view and it's my favourite. You've got a loo with a view. Sit on the loo, have a view. Oh yeah. I might just stay in here and see if anyone notices that I'm missing. I think you better go now.
Don't worry, I'll be with you again soon. Because next, I'm following the Tyne even deeper into the wilds, where I'll be discovering a feat of engineering.
So essentially, the life of the North East is dependent on this.
Yeah, it is.
That received the royal seal of approval.
The Queen came to the valley and she pressed the button.
Did you meet her?
We did, yeah.
And I'll be treated to a surprise sighting on the water.
Is that one there?
Yes.
How lucky are we?
Yeah, I know.
Hey?
Fantastic.
I've been following the flow of the River Tyne. And when I compare where I started in the throng of Newcastle to where the north section of the river has brought me, well, it's quite a change. Northumberland is the least populated county in England, and here in Kilda, it shows. This is a haven for wildlife, for outdoor adventurers, for lovers of the stars. There are so few lights, artificial lights around here, so few houses, that this is now designated as the International Dark Sky Park. Kilda has the largest man-made forest in England, and a part of the North River Tyne is the Kilda Reservoir. Right on the edge of it, this is the largest man-made reservoir in Northern Europe. It holds enough water to give every single person on the planet 7 gallons of the stuff. And if you want to run or cycle around the shoreline, it's about 26 miles. That's a marathon, which is a good adjective for the effort I imagine it took to build the reservoir. Jonty grew up near here and has worked on Kilda water all his life. Jonty, this is a vast, man-made area of water. How big is it?
So, surface area, around about 3,000 acres.
How much does that hold?
It's roughly about 44 billion gallons, so it is vast. It supplies nearly 80% of the northeast with drinking water, if we wanted to.
So, essentially, the life of the northeast is dependent on this.
Yeah, it is.
It's an amazing feat of engineering and imagination, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And Kilda was really the only place to build a reservoir, and it was a very, very shallow valley, which meant it had a huge storage capacity.
And when it was officially opened, was that a pretty grand occasion?
Yeah, it was. So back in May 1982, the Queen came to the valley and she pressed the button, which then opened the valves here at Kilda.
Did you meet her?
We did, yeah. So I was a Kilda scout, and we were asked to just paddle around in the bay, and when she arrived, we were to come in and form a line and meet her as she raised the flag.
Did you bow?
We did, yes. We all bowed. So for everyone involved, in a small place like Kilda, it was a massive, massive day, yeah.
What would you say the attraction is? You're here every day. What would you say about this part of the country?
It is the peace and tranquility, which you rarely find in places these days.
And that is not all that's unique about Kilda. The waters here are helping one precious species to survive: the osprey. These majestic birds of prey were extinct in England and Wales in the 1800s. Now, their numbers in Kilda are once again on the rise. To find out more, and we hope for a glimpse, I'm getting out on the water with local expert Joanna. Joanna and I are heading out into the middle of the water on a boat actually called the Osprey. And on your screen here, you've got a live camera on a nest.
Yeah. Here we've got one of the 3 youngsters on that nest. The male or the female are both hunting at the moment. When they bring in the fish, there'll be a real scrabble for it.
Oh, so the parents are still feeding them?
Yeah, that's right. They don't hunt for themselves until they head off on migration.
It's the abundance of fish in the water here that is tempting the osprey to Kilda. They've got this beautiful white-tipped wings and a hooked, sharp bill.
Yeah, that's right. The talon is to tear off chunks of fish. Ospreys are specialist fish eaters, so they wouldn't eat a rabbit, for instance, or something like that. They might try and get toads or, some other... It looks like a fish. Yeah, look. Yeah.
So is that Mum or Dad bringing back a fish?
That's Dad bringing a fish.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'll get you that.
Look at also the strength of Dad's legs.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they can carry their weight in fish. And he's a really good hunter, so is the female, where they bring in these big rainbow trout.
I was not expecting that. That was amazing seeing that, and Father bringing in breakfast. And what a treat to be able to watch these magnificent birds in the wild. Scanning the skies. Is that one there?
Yes.
Oh, he's really close now. How lucky are we?
Yeah, I know,
hey?
Fantastic. You're bringing good luck there.
That's not a second one, is it?
Yeah, there's a... Claire. Can you come out every day? There's
That is the second one,
Yeah, there's
isn't
a second osprey over there now.
I am feeling like we've been really lucky this morning to see that
Yeah,
live
I know,
feeding
I know.
and, you know, now to see one hunting. That was so exciting, the combination of seeing the nest live on the feed and then seeing the male out there hunting to get that fish that then he brought back to the chicks. I loved that. And it's wild and windy, but it's worth it.
I've so loved exploring this dramatically different river.
And I'm struck over my time on the Tyne by the beauty of the wildlife. I fished for salmon unsuccessfully. Oh no, that was rubbish. I've tasted stotty, which was delicious. Proper taste of the Tyne, that's it. I've kayaked on the river through the city. I'm loving it. And I'm really touched by the history of the place, its connection with the Romans, its industrial past, by the fact that people today want to protect it so much for the future, and how much the river is part of their identity. It runs through the landscape, but it runs through their soul as well.